You're new to crypto, welcome to the minefield. Now you've got 5,000 options, 10,000 options. Which one are you going to pick? So to be successful in crypto, we need to be able to analyze and understand these markets. Which markets are going to be the ones that are going to run in the next bull run? We can never be certain, but we can certainly analyze and prepare for which ones that we think are going to be the ones that are going to run for the next bull run. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about why Sui and why Render. And not only that, I'm going to be showing you how to compare things like Sui and Render against other older coins which haven't run their course yet to help identify and determine which ones that you should be in for the next run. So it's going to be a big one, an important one. Let's dive straight in. And I'm going to simplify this as much as possible. We're not going to focus too much on price action. We're going to focus more on simple tips and tricks to help you identify which of your tokens are going to run for the next bull run. So we're going to start with the Render chart. Take a look at the Render chart and tell me what you see on that Render chart. Can you see whether you think that Render, and we'll go to the Sui one next, or Sui, or Cardano, or Sandbox are going to be the ones that are going to run the most during the next bull run? How can you identify which ones? I'm going to tell you a few simple tricks and use these. What I'm going to do is clear up the chart a bit. We'll get rid of the RSI. There we go. And what we'll do is we'll just keep on the moving averages, and then we'll just look at pure price action, moving averages, and how far that they've run so far in comparison. Because what you need to remember is Bitcoin has recently put in an all-time high. It was a brief all-time high, and then it's retraced back, but we need to understand where Bitcoin is in comparison to the rest of the market. So Render. Has Render put in a new all-time high? Has Sui put in an all-time high? Has Cardano put in an all-time high? And has Sandbox put in an all-time high? Those are the four charts that we're going to be analysing today. Let's briefly go through them. There's Render, there's Sui, there's Cardano, and there's Sandbox. I'm not sure if you could identify anything that was different in those charts, but I'm going to tell you what to look for. This here, the green line, is our 200 daily moving average. The 200 daily moving average represents a line which is averaged out over 200 days. And the simple thing that you can do to check whether your coin is running in comparison to other coins is quickly go back to the Render chart. Are we above the 200 moving average, or are we below the 200 moving average? So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom out on the weekly and help identify even more whether we think that your coin's going to run, whether my coin's going to run, or which coins are going to run more for the next bull run. So we know that Render's above the 200 moving average. We know that Sui's above the 200 moving average, a little bit closer, and it's reacted nicely. This is your friend, look. Look how it reacts. Bam. Price action, or the bears regain control, and look, this buy-up candle here, right back above the 200, come back down, retested as support. That's above the 200 moving average. Right, okay, so the Cardano chart. We'll see, is Cardano above or below the 200 moving average? You can see Cardano struggling and hovering below the 200 moving average. And we do the same for Sandbox, exactly the same scenario. Sandbox is below the 200 moving average. Now, can we identify anything else? Render's relatively new, Sui's relatively new, Sandbox is relatively old from the last run, and so is Cardano. So it doesn't mean that they're not going to make all-time highs and shoot for the moon, but potentially we've got more chance of Render and Sui doing this because we know that Bitcoin has hit its high, and we want the coins that are closer or above their all-time high when Bitcoin is just putting a new high. We know that Sandbox hasn't. We know that Cardano hasn't. Right, okay, so that's the first simple tip. Is it above? Is it below? 200 moving average is your friend. So we're going to zoom out on the weekly, and then you can see, look at this. You can see there's its high. You can see there's its high, and we'll just pop in its low down here on the weekly. Now you can see that's nowhere near its all-time high. This is where Bitcoin is. This is where Render is. And this is where Sui is, all the way up here. And it's all about time in the market. How long have you been in the market for? What's everything else in the market doing? That's going to help you identify whether your coin is going to make a new all-time high, whether your token is going to make a new all-time high. So you can prepare for this by using the appropriate risk management. If you've got a portfolio allocation and you've got, say, 20% allocated to higher risk altcoins, and you're looking at which of those altcoins you think are going to run for the next bull run, you can use the 200 moving average, and you can use this method to find out how high it is in comparison to Bitcoin and other altcoins, and whether it's above or below the 200 daily moving average. We'll do the same on Cardano. You can see Cardano's all the way down here too. And we talk about not being greedy too in the market. So would you be happy if this scenario happened, there's the high on Cardano, all the way down here. We talk about the 38.2% retracement. Nearly everything retraces to 38.2% retracement. So would you be happy? This is a question you need to ask yourself. Ask yourself this now. Would you be happy if you got 160% to the 382 on Cardano? I think personally Cardano will go higher than that, but you've got to use this method to your advantage. There's other things that are going to run in comparison according to this. So we've seen Sandbox, we've seen Cardano. Now the weekly, this is where the magic happens. This is what's different. We know that Bitcoin's up here. And we know now that SUI's up there. So we know that SUI is trying to break and crack all-time highs already at this period in the cycle. So that's positive. That's showing us that SUI looks like one of the ones that are going to be running for the bull run of 2024 into 2025. And then we can do the same for Render as well. Render's not only hovering around its all-time high, Render's cracked, it's broken through. And if we just pop this on here, what was previous resistance will act as support, and this was previous resistance. It's come back down and it's acted as support. So I'm not going to dive too much into the technical analysis. I'm not going to dive too much into candlestick patterns, but I just want to show you these very simple methods that you can use to apply to your charts to help identify which ones that you think or which ones that we think are going to be running for the next bull run. So if you did enjoy this video, guys, check out my playlist. I'll leave it in the link, and I'll see you guys in the next one.